You see how fast they manage technology and manage all of this sophisticated world of ours today. And but at the same time, they also are really fast with their psychology, their human psychology. They know right away who you are. And then if you are preaching God, if you are preaching your religion to your children, you better be real. Because if you're not real, they're going to know you are not real. And they are not going to tell you. They are just going to step away from your religion because they don't believe in the religion you preach because they see you don't live it, right? So this is so important to understand that we have to carry this light, this truth, carry it, so that anything we do is real. If you talk about God to your son, to your friend, to your neighbor, if you really have the Spirit dwelling in you because you are faithful, then this is going to be a real transmission of the truth to the people you are talking to. And this is what really matters, what we carry, what we hold. And for us to hold these truths, we have to be good. You know that people ask sometimes, how can you become holy? And the answer to be holy is to be good. And to be good, you need to be brave, because you need to be brave to forgive. You need to be brave to have patience, to have tolerance, compassion, charity. Only the brave make it. We need to be brave to be good. It's very easy to be bad. You have to be a coward. That's all you have to be evil, to be bad. But to be good, you have to be daring. You have to be brave. And this is something we have to have clear. We have to dare to walk into a holy life. We have to be daring for that. And it takes a lot of effort. It takes a fiat. You have to take that decision. The decision of being good is something you have to take a decision for. You know, because it doesn't happen like that. A saint tells us, God that created you, without you, cannot save you without you. So we have to walk the walk of our salvation. We have to embrace the cross and follow Jesus like the gospel was teaching us today. Because you see, it's a very sad gospel, you know, about this young rich man. And you can see that many times just here among us. Sometimes we hear the truth being preached from the pulpit, and then we walk away sad because we feel we are not going to be able to obey what the Lord is telling us. I give an example to people always. This modern society of ours teaches us about the process. Everyone is in a process. You see, one of the biggest industries of this civilization today is therapies. Everyone is in a therapy, right? In a process. It's always a process. But when you read the gospel and you read Jesus' teachings about changing and about doing what we have to do, he says, if this eye make you sin, he doesn't say put it in a process, take it to a therapy. No, he says take it out. If this arm makes you sin, he doesn't say, take it to a rehab, take it to a therapy. No, he says, cut it off. And then, if we learn from Jesus, if we learn from the gospel, you cannot say, oh, how crude, how drastic, how radical. Well, St. John the Baptist says, the axe is on the root. See, we have to chop it, we have to cut it off, we have to finish it. If it's bad, if it's not good. And this is the way we have to go into holiness, into changing the heart. We have to chop it off. We have to take out everything that separates us from God. We have to become good. We have to do what we have to do. And we cannot go in a process. Some people tell you, I'm working on that, I'm better. I'm smoking a little less, I'm drinking a little less, I'm stealing a little less, I'm fornicating a little less. See, yeah, with a little less you're going to go to hell because you're not going to change, right? You're never going to change by getting yourself in a process. No way you're going to change. So for us to change, it's like when you have a lover and you are married, which is the only way to solve the problem. What is the only way to solve it? You have to walk away from the lover. You have to terminate that relationship. It's the only way you can get back into where you belong, to do the right thing. And that is sin. Sin is a bad lover. That's what sin is a bad lover. And you have to get rid of that bad lover, because bad lovers harm you. They do wrong to you. They destroy your life. And this is something that has to be very clear, because it's very easy to live this mediocrity, this lukewarmness of this world we live in today. This society makes people weak, very weak. You go to pharmacies and you have 100 painkillers, 100. You see, because no one wants pain. And they look to kill any pain that comes around, no suffering. If someone is giving you a hard time, you want to get rid of them right away. If you go to the psychologist and tell them, I have a problem with my husband, leave him, you should be happy, right? And this is the world we live in today. No pain, no suffering, no sacrifice, no mortification, no penance, nothing of that. So nothing of Christ, not of the cross, nothing of the cross, nothing that has to do the following Jesus. You see, because if we look at our Christianity is not one that avoids pain and suffering. Our Christianity is one that embraces the cross and walks with it. And this is the Catholic that makes it home, because it's not an extraordinary person. It's not an amazing, sophisticated person. It's a simple person. And this is the simplicity, the littleness that Jesus asks us to strive for, that littleness. And this is what we lost, because this world teaches us to be big. You see, everything in this world is telling you to be huge, to be big, to be successful, to make it, to look for the victory. And this is what the world is about. Original sin, that's what it is. You will be like God. So, you see, people have so many gods. You see people in the sports and in the movies, and the rich people, even the gangsters, are idols of many people, and false gods everywhere, because everyone wants to be extraordinary. But the gospel goes in another direction. The gospel goes in the opposite direction. The gospel teaches us to be little, small, and to watch for this world. That's why the manger of Bethlehem is the biggest teaching, the divine infancy of Jesus. Nothingness, littleness. See, because Jesus is teaching us, my kingdom is not of this world. That's what Jesus is teaching us from the very beginning. He was born in a manger, and that was plan A of God. People will think that was plan B, because no one welcomed the Holy Family of Nazareth in Bethlehem. No, but God had a plan, and the plan was the manger. That was the plan of God, to be born in the manger. Why? Because He wanted to teach us that His kingdom is not of this world. That's why He wasn't born in a castle with guards. He was born in the most simple, nothingness way. And this is what He calls us to be. Remember, He was telling us, you have to be like children to enter the kingdom. And this teaching sometimes goes over the head of people. But we have to remember that we live in a deceiving world, in a seductive materialism and consumism and relativism, and so many isms that lead us to the abysm. This is what we do and where we live. We have to be careful, and we have to understand that if we really want to be the real Catholics we were called to be, then we have to learn about littleness, nothingness, humility, humbleness. We have to learn about that. And the more humble you become, the more unassuming, the more invisible, the more insignificant you become. You become unleavened bread. And only unleavened bread is used on the altar of the Lord. You don't get a spicy bread filled with yeast on the altar of the Lord. It's only unleavened bread. But when we become unleavened, when we become tasteless, nobody wants us. They don't want you anymore because you become so insignificant. And when you come into the faith and you have a renewal in your heart in the faith, and maybe everybody else in your family is away from God, or your friends and the people you live around, then they begin to stay away from you. You become absolutely indifferent to them. You become insignificant. They don't want you anymore. And this is the biggest news, the best news you could ever have, because that means you are tasteless. You became unleavened. You are ready for the altar of the Lord, because you're no longer the food of the altar of the world. You are no longer the bread for the beast. And then that's the best news that you can have in your life, when you become nothing, when you are insignificant. And this is what happens. You see, people, the holier they get, the more invisible they are for this world, because they become totally insignificant. And many times we don't notice how God moves around us, because God moves around us in the most simple way. And since we are not simple, since we are not small, we don't see Him. We don't see His works, because we are too big. We are too sophisticated. We are too intelligent. We are too educated. So maybe we have 20 titles hanging from the wall of the house, but we don't have the wisdom of God. We don't have the humbleness of holiness. We don't have God in our hearts. And this is what is lacking. So as Catholics, we need to wake up into this mission. We need to do what we have to do before it's late, because none of us here in this temple at this very moment could raise the hand and say how much time you have left. None of us know. See, if we are so fragile that we don't know how much time we have left, imagine how serious it is to change now. Because if you don't know how much time you have, that means your time could be up in a little bit. And this means that when they call you, it's over. You lose your time of grace and you enter in the time of justice. And you will be what you became. I tell people, you want to do a great spiritual exercise? Take a moment and look inside you to see who is there. Because whoever is inside you, that's what is going to be left of you if this flesh collapses. See, that who is inside you. Who is inside you? Someone totally indifferent, someone filled with fears and anguish and insecurity and doubts, or someone that is careless about everything because you don't care about anything. Loveless heart. Or who are you? You could be a good person inside, but trapped in many fears. Who knows? But the most important thing is to discover your inner life, to find out who is inside you, because that is your soul. And that is the soul that is going to come out of this body when you die. And you better be prepared, and your soul better be nourished, strong, healthy, so that you can fly away from this world when you come out of this body. Because we are in exile, we are in the darkness, we are in the pit. You see, we are down, and we have to get out of here. And I guess the scriptures are very clear as to what we have to do. Jesus says, I'm going, and where I go, I'm going to prepare a place for you. And where did he go? He went up. Everybody saw him. They all saw him go up. And he is like our GPS. He located us. He said, you guys are down, and you have to get out of here. I'm going to leave you at the ladder so you can climb up to where I go. And that ladder is called the cross. That mystically is represented by Mount Zion, right? But it's the cross where all the tribes of God climb to the city of light. And we are called to climb that ladder, but that ladder can only be climbed by giving up self, by becoming good, by becoming holy, by understanding that we need to disappear so that Jesus can appear. And this is the goal. This is what we need to do, all of us. Sometimes you look at yourself and you find yourself troublesome. And if you look at your troubles, sometimes they are all about self-love, the poor me, the victim. And then you realize how little you have grown spiritually. Because if you achieve a spiritual growth, then it's no longer about poor me. Then it's about God. Then it's about my mission. Then it's about the neighbor. Then it's about concern about salvation of everyone. And that is the beginning of holiness. That is the beginning of a spiritual path. I'm going to end with a reading, and I read to you from the letter of St. Paul to the Romans in chapter 3 from verse 21 on. Righteousness through faith. But now the righteousness of God has been manifested apart from law, although the law and the prophets bear witness to it. The righteousness of God through faith in Jesus Christ for all who believe. For there is no distinction, since all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. They are justified by His grace as a gift, through the redemption which is in Christ Jesus, whom God put forward as an expiation by His blood, to be received by faith. This was to show God's righteousness, because in His divine forbearance He had passed over former sins. It was to prove that the present time that He Himself is righteous, and that He justifies him who has faith in Jesus. The word of the Lord. So I praise God for our lives, for our faith, for our church, and above all for our mission, souls. We need to go out there and look at people that God places in your life, and remember, those are souls, and we need to pray for them. We need to enlighten our lives so that they can be saved, so that someone can be rescued. And this is our mission, and we don't have time. We have to remember, time only belongs to God. We don't have time. So if we don't have time, we have to do what we have to do now. We cannot wait to be holy. We have to be holy today. Amen.